It is not a fixed entity. People move up and down it their entire lives. And it's incumbent upon you, the artist, if you want to get the highest ROI out of your marketing, to have things in your lineup that appeal to every section of the bell curve. When you do that, okay, you stand the greatest chance to acquire as many new customers per year as you can, right? I look at art businesses, okay, that sell the aforementioned 6 or 7 pieces a year. They include merch, and now they go to acquiring 175 customers a year. What do you think happens in that instance? Then those customers all get the regular emails. They all see the regular social posts. Then another sale comes up. And that person that had your calendar on the wall for the entire last year just bought their vacation house. And now who are they going to call to get the 6 or 7 pieces? They're going to call you. Whether or not they're going to call you comes down to whether or not you had that non-wall art in the lineup. That is how important it is. And that's how important the range is as well. And, one of the things that paralyzes you guys is pricing. Paralyzes you. Charging what you're worth, right? Understanding how to charge. Is there some sort of magical formula? Okay, I can't stand the formulas. The formulas are such nonsense. When you have a range of pricing, this entire thing gets demystified for you. And I can talk about some ways to slot the entire thing in. I actually have a mega in-depth article on how to price your art, how to price your photography. I'll email that to you after the fact, so I don't have to go too into detail on it. But you have to have the 0 to 100, 100 to 1,000, 1,000 plus. Also, you should ideally have something very, very expensive in the store. Let's say your originals stop at $1,000. I want something in your store for $25,000, or I want something in your store for $20,000. A couple of reasons for that. One, the folks that are on the high end of the socioeconomic bell curve, nothing's going to blow their hair back except the most expensive thing in the shop. So sometimes you throw something expensive in the shop, and you know what happens? They buy it because they don't care. Okay, $25,000 to them is $500 to you, right? Because they have that net worth. So don't be afraid to throw that in there. But in addition to that, throwing the really expensive piece in there, there's a phenomenon called price anchoring, okay? And really what it comes down to is we as human beings are wired to make buying decisions, purchase decisions on the basis of comparison, okay? So what we do is we anchor on the most expensive thing in the shop, and that makes us feel better about the middle of the road thing that we buy in the shop, right? Anyone been to a car dealership? You know how inside the glass box in the circle of the dealership, let's say it's a Toyota dealership, is the Toyota Supra Turbo Carbon Fiber Batwing Toyota Racing whatever, $250,000, right? We see that car and we're like, okay, don't get near that, don't touch that. How much does that thing cost? $250,000. That's crazy. Instantaneously, you're feeling a little bit better about buying that Land Cruiser for $80,000, right? Or buying the $40,000 Camry. That's called price anchoring, and it works the same in the art world. Right? You have that high item in the shop, and sometimes people will buy it, yes, but mostly it's there to make everyone else feel better about the stuff in the middle of the range. That's a very, very, very important fact. Now, a lot of you guys are like, I don't understand how I'm going to get this pricing thing sorted. How am I going to get to this? How difficult is this to do? I don't know how I'm going to do it. It becomes very, very easy to do when you leverage POD, okay? POD, by which I mean print on demand, is the single solitary greatest advancement that has happened to you guys in the history of this industry. You can have your work on a variety of mediums, a variety of sizes, on merch, all without any minimums, all without holding any inventory. That is phenomenal. That is insane. That never used to be the case, okay? An order can come in. You can get paid. The printer gets paid. The printer prints it. The printer ships it, slaps your logo on the side of the box, and all of the emails go out, and you don't have to lift a finger. Do you know how insane that is? Anyone that's old like me, like we used to have minimums. We used to have to stack this stuff in the garage, right? And hold on to it and hope that all sold. Like those days are gone. Print on demand is insane. And what else print on demand lets you do is it lets you easily hit the 0 to 100, the 100 to 1,000, the 1,000 plus price range. For instance, right? You've got your non-wall art merch, whatever it is, in the 0 to 100. You have your really small paper prints in the 0 to 100. After you get up above 100, you start to have your other mediums come in, and the sizes step up. So you've got canvas in there, and you've got metal in there, and you've got acrylic in there. Then let's say at 1,000, your limited editions start. Your limited editions go from 1,000 to 2,500. 2,500, your originals start. From 2,500 up to 10 grand, there are your originals, right? And you can adjust that, and you can play with that a little bit. Everyone's lineup is a little bit different where they price their originals. But what the prints allow you to do via print on demand is establish this range of pricing. And you guys, you don't need to come to us to do this. You will thank me so much. Because all of those times that you put all that time, energy, effort, hours, if it's artists, hours and hours and hours learning your craft, and then what the canvas costs and the paints and how many hours you had in the painting, and the photographers, you know, you're doing sunsets and you had to go 65 days in a row to get that one shot, right? And you've got it beautiful. There it is in your store. And you're quoting somebody $1,500 for it or whatever you are. And someone's like, yeah, I'll offer you $37, right? That is so deflating, right? Like, does that person know how much time, energy, and effort I put into that thing? It's like soul crushing. Do you know what doesn't happen when you have the range? That. Because human beings are not, aside from the ones on social media, are not assholes. Okay? No one's trying to cut you down or lowball you or like destroy your self-esteem. They just don't have the basis for comparison because you don't have the range of pricing. So when you do get those questions, it's like, actually, no, I wouldn't take $37 for that. The question won't come up in the first place, but you can be like, but here's some stuff in your price range that does, right? You have no idea the effect this will have on your overall mental clarity and self-esteem and motivation, right? Because there's nothing worse than the lowball people. There's nothing worse than that. The range completely eliminates this. It completely eliminates this. And it also helps establish the value of your originals, of your limited editions if you're a photographer. So the POD is extremely, extremely important, okay? And, yes, all of this is very, very easy to accomplish with a website. Yes, you need all of it, right? And I've come to realize, like, over the course of the years of doing business, that I've got this restaurant analogy, right? And this is one of the number one things that cripples you guys from ever growing a business of substance, okay? Let's take it out of the art world. It's my restaurant analogy. You guys are just chefs, right? And you want to have a restaurant, a big, beautiful restaurant that is growing year after year, okay? That all the tables are full, right? And it's rocking. Problem in all of that is your superpower is cooking. So that means all of your time and energy and effort, if we wanted to maximize the leverage of who you are as a human being, should be in that kitchen making those meals, right? Coming up with new ones, working on sauces, keeping that kitchen on rails. And here comes the problem. Because you guys are wearing all the hats, not only are you in the kitchen making the dishes, you're the receptionist answering the phones, you're the maitre d' seating the diners, you're the waiter taking the orders, you're the bartender, you're the sommelier, you're the busboy cleaning it up, and then you're doing the dishes too. When you are doing all of those jobs, when you are wearing all of those hats, okay, that restaurant's never going to grow to be bigger than one or two tables. Just not. It's just not, right? Like, the only two things an artist or photographer should be working on is creating the work, okay, and then doing the marketing that only you can do. And I'll get into that in a second. Not doing all the rest of that stuff, right? And so when you holistically look at the revenue potential and the growth potential of an art or photography business through that lens, you're like, oh my gosh, if I don't start solving for some of those roles, how the hell am I ever going to have a restaurant bigger than one or two tables? You're not. You're not, right? So, okay. Well, now let's think about this problem in a more creative fashion. You get your art up on a website. It's on a website, and you can take orders, and you don't have to be there, and that's operating 24 hours a day. You just knocked out the receptionist, right? Done. Then you contemplate the lens of print on demand, right? Print on demand. Before, you used to have to run down to the printer, take a look at the print. Did it come out okay? Come back, go back again, pick it up, then have it outside of your house, wait for UPS to hopefully pick it up. Then you're getting the tracking number, and you're emailing that tracking number to someone. POD completely knocks that out. Now the maitre d' is gone, right? You have those two functions of that restaurant business now completely handled, and you do not need to do that work ever again. That is like when you realize the profundity of what's possible there with those two things. And, the rest of the roles, depending on how far I want to drag out the analogy, all comes down to the marketing piece. And we can talk about that in a second. But let's briefly finish on the website. The last thing with the website is, and it ties into the restaurant analogy, I get so many times like, Patrick, why would I come to you guys at Art Storefronts? You're expensive. I can get a website anywhere, right? And you can. You can get a website anywhere. You can get one at WordPress or Shopify or Weebly or Wix or Squarespace or here or there. It doesn't matter. You can get one just about anywhere. The problem when you guys do it, okay, versus when we do it, is you don't have any damn idea what you're doing building the website. And the reason is that no one's taught you how this works, okay? And contrast these two things. And then once I lay out this analogy, you'll never, ever be able to not remember it again. What is the best way to sell art and photography? What is the paradigm of how art and photography sell? I'll tell you. It's in an art gallery. It's in an art gallery. Why do all art galleries and all museums look the same? You ever wonder that? What do they all have in common? White walls, the art hanging, properly lit, and nothing else. And nothing else. Because that is the paradigm of how art of photography is sold. You walk into this beautiful space, and you just see the art on the wall. You don't see anything else. All your focus is there. You take that in, and that's it. Okay. So why do all of our websites look like art galleries? There you go. That's it. They're minimalist, minimal colors, minimal fonts, basic, mostly white, because it's attempting to mimic the art gallery experience. What do the websites look like when you guys are left to your own devices? Right? Oh, man. Colors, fonts, goofy slideshows, music, nonsense, widgets. If anyone saw the art, it would be a damn miracle, okay? Yes, you guys understand the rule of thirds, okay? Yes, you understand composition. None of that is applicable, your artistic eye, to what the damn website should look like if you actually want to acquire customers and engage in commerce. And that is where everyone screws it up, okay? We are not reinventing the wheel. We are not reinventing the wheel. The paradigm for how art or photography sells is the blank white walls and nothing else. And so when you add all this goofy business on these websites anywhere else, it is a huge waste of your time, okay? Let me tell you what else is a huge waste of your time. Learning to speak GoDaddy or HTML or CSS or website builder or JavaScript, okay? Or searching in forums for responses or upgrading plugins or any of the rest of that stuff that goes on in a website. We learned this a couple of years ago, and we learned we have to start doing something so that our customers do not have to learn to become web programmers. And so that's another job that we've knocked out in the restaurant analogy, okay? You're no longer the waiter because we build the entire website for you. You don't touch anything. You don't lift a finger. You put your images in a folder, you send them to us, and we do the rest, okay? Why do we do that? Because it's another job I'm taking off the plate of my customers. I don't want them learning to become a web programmer. I don't want them worrying about that nonsense. You got to get the chef back in the kitchen making the meals, okay? That's a huge, huge part of what we do and how we approach that aspect of the whole restaurant analogy. So that is our huge deal for the week. I think from Sunday, or did it start on Sunday? I think it started on Sunday. From Sunday till Friday, if you sign up, if you get a website with us, we will build it for you. You will not have to lift a finger on any of it. But if you don't, you're not ready. You're just getting started. Don't worry about that. I'm not trying to lay a huge sales pitch down. It's just a fun thing that we're doing this week. But I want you to think about all of those things, okay? I want you to think about all of those things because it is so, so important. That is the lens in which I believe a successful art of photography career has grown in today's day and age. It is getting those things right, and then it is just a game of pressure over time. How long you're going to be at it, okay? Understanding the fundamentals and the basics. And Chloe, I love you being on here because anytime I get someone really, really young, I'm like, okay, if I can just get my hooks in them now and make them understand, grow the email list, get that range of pricing in, acquire as many customers as possible. I mean, Chloe, you look to be in your 20s, right? There are people in here in their 60s or 70s. If they could go back to their 20-year-old self, they would tell their 20-year-old self, focus on everything that this loudmouth just said and stretch that out over 30 or 40 years, and you are going to have an incredible art career. You are going to have an incredible art career, and you have the permission to take 10 years to grow it, right? Get that thing on the right track and just focus on what matters and not the nonsense, okay? Not the nonsense. There's literally only two ways to make it as an artist or photographer right now, and I'd love to hear any of you challenge me on it, okay? I'd love to hear any of you challenge me on it because I've talked to hundreds of thousands of artists and photographers a year, every year and a half for years and years. You are either selling direct, marketing direct, okay, like what we espouse and outline, or you are on the traveling roadshow. What does that mean? You are doing the show and fair circuit, 20 to 25, 30 events a year, setting up the booth, sitting in the booth, being away from your family, loading the car up, eating crappy food, on your feet for 8 hours a day. The show and fair circuit is awesome, but it's very, very hard to do. Everyone's like, well, what about galleries? The galleries really work. The galleries are a dream, okay, that does not work. It does not work. And don't get me wrong, I have never met a revenue source in this business I don't like. If you're in a gallery and you're selling well, that's fantastic. That's awesome. But understand how in the minority you are, right? Like one of the pitches that I love to throw out there is like, okay, let's just talk about the gallery model for a second. Let's say you are kicking butt, okay, and you are selling $100,000 a year, okay, gross sales in an art gallery, a dream for everyone, right? That alone, if you're selling $100,000 a year in a gallery, places you in the top 1% of artists and photographers that are selling nationwide in galleries. Period. End of sentence. Now let's do the math. 50% haircut right off the top. Gallery takes 50%, you're left with 50%. Okay? So that means you are now making $50,000 gross, and out of that needs to come your studio, your studio rent, your paints, your tripod, your lenses, your travel, all of that. Okay? That alone, maybe that's a living wage, okay? Maybe you're making $40,000 a year and you're happy, okay? But you have no idea who's buying your work, and they don't ever tell you who's buying your work. So you have no ability to acquire customers that you know that you can market to, that you can turn into collectors, okay? Let's paint a little bit rosier of a picture. Let's say $500,000 gross, okay? Then the 50% haircut, $250,000 gross, okay? Then you subtract your fees, you're making over 200 grand. That puts you in 1/10 of 1% of artists and photographers that are selling nationwide. Those odds, okay, of being that successful and making it like that are kind of like the number of people that you know that play a sport versus the number of people that you guys know that are professional athletes in that sport. I don't know any professional athlete. That's not true. I just met one of my neighbors, retired soccer player, but the odds are very, very low, right? And so I don't play the lotto. Do you guys play the lotto? Like the odds are not good of that. They're just not good. Now, it's not to mean you can't attempt to get into galleries and maybe your circumstances are different. There's a local one or you know somebody or somebody came to you, whatever it is. That's okay, but it's just not okay over the course of a long career, okay? And again, Chloe, I'll say this to you. One of the most terrifying things, okay, that I saw was right when COVID hit, all the galleries closed. And these artists that have been selling so well in galleries for years and years and years, 6-figure plus guys, showing up on these webinars going, I have no income coming in. I have no one to market to. I don't have an email list. The gallery took care of all of it. And now my art is locked up and embargoed in a gallery. Help, right? Or folks that come on these calls in the 60s and 70s, right? You're in a later season of life and you're like, I did great in the show and therapy circuit, or I kicked butt in my gallery sales in the 90s. And I'm like, did you keep an email list? Did you market to them? Did you ever do any marketing? Was your art on a website? And they're like, no. And it's like, okay, well, you're starting from scratch. I'm sorry, because if you don't retain the information on who's purchasing your work and you don't market to them in perpetuity, you essentially have nothing. And that's terrifying, right? And so why I'm yelling at you, Chloe, is because if I could just pound this into more artists' heads, and like when they're in their 20s, when they're in art school, right? Like you have to treat this thing like a business. If you want to be successful, everything will change. Now, the good news is most everyone still has decades left of getting this right. I routinely get people in their 90s coming onto these calls asking for advice. And that is a staggering thing, right? You guys, there's no turning off the art of the photography gene. This is with you for life. You're going to be doing this for the rest of your life. It will give you purpose for the rest of your life. So knowing that, most of you still have decades left to get this right? You have decades left to get it right. So the minute when you start working on the right stuff, when everything gets easier. But enough of my ranting on the websites and everything else. We can open it up to Q&A. How does the Q&A work? If you're one of the brave ones that has your camera on and you want to do the old school hand raise, I will see that. Okay. Yep. I got you too, Valerie and Jocelyn. And then I'll bring you on. For everyone else, at the bottom of the Zoom window, you see a little smiley face reactions. You can click that thing, and that's a way to raise your hand digitally speaking. You can see I just did it, and that kind of builds me a cue, lets me know what's going on there. I usually like to prioritize the people with their camera on, but if you don't want to turn your camera on, don't worry. Okay. It's my job. All right. Otherwise, you would have no idea what I look like. I have a face for radio. I hate being on video, so I totally get that. So you can ask just via audio if you want. You can throw your questions into the chat. I will answer those. If you're one of the ones that's watching on LinkedIn or Twitter or YouTube or Facebook, I can see your comments. I will answer those as they go along. As we as artists still have full right to our artworks, of course, 100%. 100% of the rights you retain with us. So that's how that goes. But okay, I'm going to start with Valerie, then I'm going to go to Jocelyn, and then we'll see where it goes from there. So Valerie up first. Go ahead. And
Hi.
Hi.
Hi. I'm here.
Yep, gotcha. What's your question? How can I help you?
Um, my question would be, do you think this is a place for someone that's been painting their whole life but
Hmm.
has never really been considered a professional artist? I mean, I have sold just a few
Hmm.
paintings. I have a room full of paintings. I'm still learning new medium. I'm not sure that this is a place where I could actually find people that would want to buy art
Hmm.
from a 63-year-old woman
Yeah.
who just loves to paint.
Yeah. I would say you're the only one that can answer that. Like, do we give you a website? Yeah. Do we teach you how to market it? Do we teach you how to grow a business? Yeah. Well, you got to want to have the business, right? Like, you know, there's a lot of people. Sorry, I'm taking this thing off. These lights that are on are cooking me. There's a lot of people that just want to have a hobby and be in retirement, and that's awesome. That's okay, right? But it's a personal come to Jesus you kind of need to have. Like if you'd like to have a business and grow it into a business, and you're willing to work on it and work through those growing pains and challenges, yeah, then 100% it is. And let me tell you, like you know, I always
I'm
rant that
really
it's the it's the,
tired of giving my paintings away to everyone that says, "Oh my God, Valerie, this is so beautiful. Can I have it?"
yeah.
And I have no idea how to sell it, so I just go, "Okay, sure, take it."
Yeah. Yeah. I
I'm
think you have to
tired of
decide. You have to decide, Valerie. If you want it. If you want it, yes, it is an absolutely fantastic place. But if you don't want it and you don't want the extra burden and it's just a hobby and you love it, then that's a personal decision. You have to decide, right? Like, you know, do I believe we are living through the greatest time in the history of mankind to become an artist or photographer? I do, because of this, right? Without leaving our houses, we can reach, thousands and tens of thousands of people. And that was just never possible back in the day. We were limited to where we were geographically, right? So that's amazing, but doesn't mean it's easy. It's still a bit of a grind, right? It takes 3 to 5 years to build anything of value in this world today, today's day and age. So, do you want that grind? Do you want to keep learning? Do you want to push yourself? Do you want to be in community with others doing it? If the answer to that is yes, then yes, it's the right place. If the answer is no, then come to terms with look, I just want a hobby and it's all good. I enjoy it, right? You have to make that call personally, and it's for sure a personal decision.
okay,
Yeah.
thanks.
Which way are you leaning after I give that advice? I'm curious.
I think I can do it. I have
Yeah.
always thought that I was good enough for people to want to buy my art. I just never knew how to do it.
Yeah.
I went to school. I was an art student. I experienced trauma, and I had a professor tell me I just wasn't good enough.
Yeah.
And so I dropped out, and life happened. And I did little artsy things all throughout my life and
Mm-hmm.
painted and gave away a lot of paintings.
Mm-hmm.
And now I'm retired at home. I'm painting. I have these paintings all over my house.
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
Like, why shouldn't I see if someone would actually pay money,
100%. And
small amount of money even, to have some of my art?
the beautiful thing in today's day and age, like that you just rattled through in your story, is like most artists and photographers are terrible at this. And I have to go on a quick side rant because it's important to me. My position is that art sales are 50-50. Okay. And I have a lot of experience. I've seen this play out so many different ways. 50% the quality and the caliber of the art and all that entails, subject matter, material, how good you are with the brush strokes, yeah, all of it, right? The other
Yeah.
50% is who is the artist? What makes her tick? What makes her interesting, right? Are they a dog person or a cat person, right? Do they come from the Southwest or are they from California? Where are they? What makes them interesting, right? And all of that stuff that you just rattled through your story, when you start telling those stories, why I think it's the greatest time to be in the artist is there's tribes on here that relate to every single solitary one of those things, right?
Mm.
And so,
Yeah.
your professor saying, you're not good enough to make it. That was him projecting. He wasn't good enough to make it, which is why he's
He was,
teaching.
he was a, can I say a bad word
For
on
sure,
here?
yeah,
He was an asshole.
yes,
I
he
mean,
was, but he was projecting because he failed. That was his
I
own
was
failure.
too young to know it and
Yeah,
too impressionable and took all that to heart.
yeah,
And it took me years to figure out he
yeah,
was just an asshole, being an asshole anyway. So,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah. So
Yeah,
yeah.
I did children's murals for years. I was a watercolor artist for years. And in the last few years, I've decided to be an acrylic and oil painter. And so I'm just starting to get my feet under me
Mm-hmm.
and produce some work that I feel like is really valid.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So we can help you. Think, make your call, and then decide if you want to do it. It's totally up to you.
Cool. Cool. Okay. I have a call scheduled.
Awesome. Thanks, Johnny.
Okay. Thank you.
All right. I see all the hands. Don't worry. I'm going to get to all of them. First was, yeah, Jocelyn, I know. You got the cue, and then I'll work the hands. So, Jocelyn, you have to unmute yourself. It looks like you're on the cell phone, so there's like a little mic icon. If you click it. I lost her on the grid view. Let me see. Did she get unmuted? Yeah, so normally on the cell phone, it's on the bottom row somewhere, Jocelyn, and then it's just like this little mic icon. And if you click it, that usually will unmute you. Yeah, gotcha.
Hey, can you hear me now?
I sure can.
Okay. Hi, Jocelyn. Las Vegas.
Uh-huh.
And I love what you're talking about. It seems so inspiring to get something, it's like a moderated collaboration, yeah?
Mm-hmm.
And tell me, I'm such and I'm so fired up. I could be momentarily, I could be any moment, any second, and then sometimes I'm just like normal, right?
Yeah.
That makes me kind of weird, but very productive. In sound on said, like if I talked about something artistic, relating to furniture or something like that, how could I know that you could pick that up real quick? And then 50-50 is, I'll take it right now. But I'm never on command, and I'm always natural about when I create or do something.
Mm-hmm.
I'm natural. I don't know what it is. Anyways, but I love to work with somebody. It'd take a lot off of my back, as far as like trying to be all of a kind of person. And I love what you talked about. And, because I've always been abroad and like global, everything kind of goes out where it wants to.
Yeah.
And I tried to market that way. I thought it would be the most inspiring way to get motivated and get like, as much as you can get out of life or get to life so they can expand on it was always my process. I think I just expanded too much that I just lost, sight or connection or hope. But I think it's all relative to some of the things you're talking about, business or emails.
Mm-hmm.
Before I'm 75, I'm born in 75, so we didn't have all that kind of digital stuff so much. But as far as a long lifetime of emails or phone numbers, companies, basically their business card, I have tons of those. I mean, emphatically, I was so friendly and all over the place. I get bored, sit down and paint a picture, draw a picture. You know how you have block walls on houses? I'll give you one. This is our connection right now. Okay. Catch this one, yeah?
Yep. Well, we had to, Justin, we had to kill your camera because your audio was like going in and out. So now we can't see. We can just hear you.
Okay.
Yeah.
So is it working? Okay. Certain separating walls.
Mm-hmm.
I go with the paint, the art, because you have a painting on the wall, but if you connect them all in digital ways, you can actually make walls that way. It's kind of cool. I was thinking, okay, ask me anything.
Love it. Yeah, I think, and thank you for the question, Jocelyn. Like, being all over the place, not being all over the place, like, your individual personality quirks, like, don't worry about that. All of that is nonsense. Where most artists and photographers fail, is never marketing consistently and treating their marketing like a New Year's resolution, right? This is going to be my year. I'm going to make it. I'm going to kill it. I'm going to crush it. It's kind of like signing up for the gym in January. And you're going 4 days a week. Son, stop. By the way, my children are home because Columbus Day. Good times. And my wife is gone. So it's a party in here. Anyway, everyone treats their marketing like a New Year's resolution. Like, this is going to be my year, okay? In January, you're going to the gym 4 days a week. And then by March, you haven't been once. Rinse and repeat, and you don't ever make any forward progress, right? So in addition to the websites and everything else, our secret sauce is really just keeping you marketing consistently, which is one of the hardest battles to fight. So if you're in for that, Jocelyn, we can certainly help you. Okay, next up, Rachel. Go ahead, Rachel.
Hey, can you hear me?
I sure can.
Sorry, I'm picking up my kids. I'm just gonna rapid fire these questions.
Love rapid fire. Give it to me.
Yes, I've been watching you guys for the last couple weeks.
Mm-hmm.
I'm in, okay, but it's just like a matter of timing.
Sure.
I had the demo.
Mm-hmm.
He couldn't answer some of my questions around marketing.
Yep.
and I wasn't sure how to get in touch with anyone else other than the sales rep.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so that's one question. And then the next question is, so his first question was, he took a look at my work and he was like, so what do you want to sell exactly? Because a lot of my work is commercial.
Mm-hmm.
Do you guys help sort of like I know you do the site. So am I going to
Yes.
show you my stuff and then you guys kind of help me curate what is sellable?
Beautiful thing there is no one can answer that question. You can't answer that question. We can't answer that question. And the problem no one can answer it is because the only one that can answer it is the almighty credit card coming out of the almighty wallet and going through the credit card machine, right?
Mhm.
So the game early on, when you don't know, you start with what you think your best stuff is, and we teach you how to get it in front of enough eyeballs to actually find out what is your best stuff. And
All right.
inevitably in that situation, like it can be such a mixed bag. Sometimes it's all one portion of the work. Sometimes it's a smattering of all the work. Sometimes all of it sells. Sometimes none of it sells. Like you just don't know until you market it. So that's the right answer to the
Okay.
question. Yeah.
All right. The other thing is he said something about like group work,
Yeah.
I and he couldn't sort of expand on that. So
So
I was
do you
hoping you could.
kind of the Zoom experience that you were in today? We have 9 of these a
Uh-huh.
week, every single solitary week, 52 weeks a year.
Okay.
So you're never walking alone throughout the entire damn
Okay.
thing, ever. Like weekly, you can come in, you can learn. We teach the newest things, and then everybody gets a shot at Q&A too. So it's like the level of support that we give you after the fact is staggering. That's what sets us apart from everyone else. With everyone else, it's like, hey, great, here's your website. Good luck. Let us know how it goes, right? With us, like once the website's done, that's when the real work begins, and it never stops. Never stops.
Okay.
Yeah.
But if I have like something specific that I want to ask, like I'm in the middle of something and
Yeah.
I'm stuck.
There's
How do I
9 sessions a week to be able to do that.
Okay, so it has to be in one of these sessions. It's not like, hey, I can just email this person.
You could email people too, and tickets and everything else, but the face-to-face communication is always the most powerful, right?
Okay,
Because you
so
can go back and
ticket.
forth. It's just more efficient. So we do
Yeah.
like I said 9 Zoom sessions like this a week, and then there's individual rooms within the Zoom. Trust me, it's the most efficient way. Like we can look at the
Okay.
work, we can look at photos, you could show things, we could take over your screen
Okay.
if needs be. Like it's a game changer. You don't want an email. Trust me, you want the face-to-face.
Right. No, for sure. Okay. All right. Social media.
Yeah.
I have crap on there now.
Yeah.
I'm creating it's like a comeback album with you guys.
Yes.
So am I eliminating all of that stuff? Am I just deleting my entire account and starting over?
No, absolutely not. Absolutely not. We'll take a look at it and make some recommendations, but
Okay.
you're not starting from scratch. Absolutely not. We're just doing the reboot.
Okay.
Yeah.
Lastly,
Mhm.
your live weekly morning talk podcast.
Mhm.
When is that? Like exactly. Like, can't you tune in and go live? Like ask Q&As. I've
Yeah.
heard some of them are like some people are tuned in and they're asking questions.
Yeah, all the time. All the time. I run
When is that?
So the CEO runs one on Tuesday. I run mine on Thursday. But we also, like I said, we have 9 of those a week with various different characters inside of our company. So like that.
Oh wait, so you need to be a member in order
Yes.
to.
Yeah.
Got that.
But anytime you see
Okay.
me live ever, including on one of these things, I'm answering questions all day long. I live for it. So just ask.
Okay, but you have to be a member. You can't be a non-member and just tune in for a live Q&A.
No, you can. There's certain stuff that we broadcast to the public, and there's a lot of stuff that we don't. So you wouldn't know about the ones that we don't anyway, right? So if you see it and you see a live, ask a question, of course. But otherwise, if you sign up, there's 4 times as many of them.
Okay, that's why I signed up for this one again, because I was like, I don't know how else to get in to ask an immediate question.
Yeah. You're in the right place. This is exactly why we do.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. Thanks, Rachel.
Bye.
Good luck getting the kiddos. Okay, Mika, go ahead.
Sorry.
Oh, you're all good.
Hi. I had a call today with Chris. Great. I learned some information. I'm going to have a demo tomorrow.
Awesome.
What was my question? Sorry. My question was, I asked her about I feel like I have the opposite problem of someone else. I actually don't generally save my work. I kind of give it away, or I paint over the canvas or whatever. I've just now started to kind of go after it in earnest. And so at the moment, I've probably made about 3 paintings in the past, say, 45 days or so.
Fine.
And I was asking Chris, is it too early for me
No.
to try?
No, stop. No. You know how many it takes to get started? 1. You want to know why? You never will if you wait. Right?
Fair.
And don't even take that as a sales pitch, because I get fired up about this one, right? Everyone's like, I'll just get started when. And then insert all the 55, when I get my logo done, when I know what my niche is, when I get the business account set up, right? And that whole time you're working in a vacuum on nonsense, when the only thing that matters is starting to work on the machine that's going to get the art in front of eyeballs to find out if you're in the right direction or not.
But what does it look like? I guess I'm having a hard time imagining what.
Oh, don't worry. No one's coming early. No one's even going to see it early on, right? It's going to be the 3 pieces on there, and that's it. And every time you add a new one's going to go up, right? Like,
yeah, you're right.
Yeah, don't worry.
Okay.
Don't worry.
Okay, good answer. Thank you.
Thanks, Misha. I always say Misha. I don't know why Misha. I know why Misha, actually. What is that song, that Grace Kelly song from Mika? Mika. Do you know what I'm talking about? He's like some gay piano guy. It's really funny. Some kid singing on American Idol kind of got stuck in my head, but it's like 20 years old. Anyway, whatever. I'll send it to you. I'll see you on the inside. All right. Tim and Selena, go ahead.
Hi.
Hi.
Great webinar. Thank you.
Oh, thank you.
Our question is regarding that Tina Turner painting behind you. Both of us do portraits.
Yep.
We have a very different style. We want to be combined on the program, which we talked about that to Matt, and he said it was okay. So we're good. Question about the image about Tina. So Tim wanted to know about copyright.
Yeah.
How does that work?
Yeah. So, I always have to start these things out by saying, I'm not a lawyer and this is not legal advice, right? The company CYA. I've learned so much about copyright over the course of
CYA.
Yeah.
Is that the one I'm thinking?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Because I'm not a lawyer, like I'm not giving legal advice, but I think in like the 10 years, we've maybe received 3 or 4 copyright takedown notices from all of our customers across the board, in which case we take it down. Other than that, it's just not an issue. In fact, I have customers that specifically create the art to get the attention of the gatekeeper for the copyright holder, because that's the only way that you can actually get them on the phone, that use it as a strategy, right? And so here's my official position. I am currently, and again, not a lawyer, I am now in the easier to beg forgiveness than ask permission camp, right? Because what ends up happening is, my way, you don't give a damn about copyright in the slightest, which is not to say you're depriving artists or stealing stuff or anything else. I'm not saying it like that, but you're creating this thing, right? You have no idea whether or not this thing will sell or not sell. You have no idea whether whose attention it's going to get or not get. And so create it and see what happens. Okay? See what happens. The worst that would happen, unless you are selling hundreds of thousands of them, is you're going to get a takedown notice, right? And that's it. And what I see on the other side is like the fear of all of this, and sometimes the rectitude and perhaps the proprietary, paralyzes the artist from ever doing anything, ever taking any forward steps, ever finding out, right? And then I see all these other ones that do, and in many cases, like it's springboards into their career. I mean, let me give you for instance, okay? I've got this guy, great guy, photographer, shoots these like a landscape type photos of the Twin Cities, like bridges and stuff. Do you know what his other most famous pastime is? Going into a certain park that might have something or something not to do with a mouse, and setting his camera up and taking these beautiful photos. He's now selling 6 figures a year of these beautiful photos inside the park. And do you know what he found out? There's a private Facebook group online of a whole bunch of people that are doing the same thing. And there's Disney representatives in there saying, have at it, guys. All you're doing is promoting people coming in, right? And if he wouldn't have done it, and if he would have had the temerity, like said, I'm not going to do it, he never would have embarked on this new career that's bringing all this income. Meg, this other gal, like, go ahead. I think your husband was asking something.
No, that's great information. It makes me relax. Thank you.
Yeah, I think you do.
Thank you.
Like, I think the biggest fear in all of it, no joke, is like that you're going to get a takedown notice. But unless you've made significant income out of it, they're just going to tell you to stop. They're not going to sue you and come after you because what would be the point, right? They're not going to get their legal fees back. I've got one guy that
Plus
does.
they get promotion.
Yeah.
It's promotion for them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've got one guy that does movie posters. Just movie posters. And oftentimes the celebrities contact him and sign them and like love it. And they like want to order them. And so it's, you know, again, I'm not advocating theft. Like I'm on no position theft, but every artistic work is just a combination of other things anyway. You could argue every single solitary thing is copied and probably win in a court of law, right? So I just don't want it to paralyze you from taking forward steps and trying to see where you can get with it, right? So that's
advice.
Yeah, that's my position.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks, guys. And by the way, you are the only two situation where I actually recommend you can combine sites, because if it's husband and wife, is it a husband and wife?
Yeah.
Yes.
It's all good. Okay. If not,
Fabulous.
it becomes like a Mormon marriage. All right. And I don't know how those guys do that and gals do that, because I have enough problem with one. All right. And making that a perfectly sympathetic thing. Right. But when you have.
Yeah. Our art's very different, but we love each other's art. So it's all good.
But if he does a little extra marketing 1 month, or you do a little extra marketing, it's not going to be a war of the worlds, because while you're doing that, maybe he's doing the yard work. Right. Or whatever.
We both win.
Yes. Because it's a balance. It's a marriage, a compromise. So yes, you can 100% do it and 100% advise the merge. It just makes it easier.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah. Thanks, guys. All right, Chloe, and then Brandon, and then Stella, and then Susan, and then Linda. But don't worry, I'll get to everybody. I want you taking these things seriously. Chloe, you have this massive career in front of you. If you get this stuff right now, I'm telling you, you're gonna wake up, you're gonna be like 45, and you're like, this thing is cooking already.
No, like I have some ideas and stuff. I was talking to one of the employers, and they was like, they have 3 parts to like the whole art front, like the whole website, a 3D mock-up, option brands, and also marketing, and also like a simulator of like also the art being posted up on the website, kind of like a whole gallery. Also, it gives flexible scheduling. Also, you get to consult with different people. Also, like you get 30 days within lunch, and also free assistance. Also, a membership like discount if you would like it. But I feel like most people concern is like they do art like for themselves, and even though it's a hobby, they're kind of scared on the business side of it. And I am too. Because I'm not that intelligent on the business side, but on art, I could just produce, and I would just like to give it all to someone and be like, here, put it up on the website and let it sell, you know?
Yeah.
So I feel like that's what most people are concerns about, and that's mine too. But y'all really do demonstrate enough answers to my questions where it's like I can really trust y'all on the business side and be able to produce what I do, and also like take a photo and then like probably just send it off to you, you know?
Yeah.
So you answered pretty much all my questions, so I'm really not worried. It's just like, wow, I do want to grind for it, because not only that, I did create like a website on Wix, and I knew that creating that website, I'll have to put my own art up there, also kind of like calculate how much time and also value that by time something.
It's just
and
not
I
worth
learned
it.
all of that in like high school, so I forgot how to like calculate most of it, but y'all seem to know like the weight and stuff like that of just each and different art project. And also just like I don't know, I just really like the art front. I've kind of been dodging y'all for a minute, but then it was just like, okay, maybe God want me to be here or something like that.
Love it. Yeah, I mean, you know, I've contemplated, like, I want to do a scholarship program.
Yeah.
For artists in their 20s. Can I ask, is that real? Are you in your 20s?
Yeah, I'm 21.
Yeah, so you would qualify, and I want to do like a super discounted plan, because it honestly breaks my damn heart, because I talk to all these incredible artists that are in their 50s and 60s and 70s that were kicking butt and selling well in the 80s, 90s, or maybe even the 10s, and then the status quo changed, and they've got nothing. And they're insanely talented. And it's like, I don't want to see that. Like, you know, they don't teach you a damn thing in art school or photography school on how to grow a business, on how to actually turn this God-given creative talent into something that can provide for you and your family. And that infuriates me, and I want to fix that. So I'll email you. I'll email you about the scholarship program. I'm literally working on it.
Okay, great. That would be good. Thank you.
Thanks, guy. All right, Brandon, you're up next. Go ahead, Brandon.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah, sure can.
Oh, cool. I was wondering, so your services.
Yeah.
what do you guys do for advertising? I'm sure you already answered this, but
yeah, so you're gonna get me going on a hell of a rant now. Advertising, as most artists and photographers think about it, doesn't work. It doesn't work. You know, I've run over $50 million worth of Facebook and Instagram ads in my career. Okay. Over that entire time, I have not seen a single artist or photographer that is still at it. Meaning everyone takes these little stabs now and again, and then no one has ever been doing it consistently the entire time. That tells me everything that I need to know. It doesn't work. Not to mention I know already because of my own customers. What you guys think advertising is, I'm going to show my work to somebody that doesn't know me, and instantaneously they're going to buy it. Doesn't work. Doesn't work in the art world. What does work is you can advertise to get emails. You can advertise to do a print giveaway. You can advertise to get somebody to come to a local show. You can advertise to grow your social media following. They follow you for a while, then they make a purchase. That works, but almost no artists and photographers do it. So what I love to espouse and talk about all the time, and I have a really good in-depth podcast episode on this, and I want you to check it out because it'll really open your mind. It's called the Art Marketing Podcast, totally free, on Apple Podcasts, on Spotify, on all the rest. And number 55 is the one that I want you to listen to, and it's called Smart Artists Don't Run Ads. Instead, they do this, okay? And I introduced this concept called the loop, and I'll give it to you briefly.
Okay.
You are going to give away a print of your work, okay, or a piece of merch. In order to get that print of work or that piece of merch, you have to put your email in the box, okay? After you've done gathering all these emails, you give the thing away. The cost of giving the thing away to ship it to whoever is your ad. That is your ad cost, okay? Then, after you've announced the winner to everyone else, you're like, guys, I don't ever win anything either. Feel free, as a way of me saying thank you for entering, to take 15% off store-wide for the next 24 hours. Brandon. And you send that email. That's the loop, right? And you can run the loop anywhere. You can run it in real-world situations. You can run it in digital situations. You can put a QR code on the back window of that car you're driving around and say, scan this QR code, enter to win, right? There's a million different ways to do it. So we teach you. We have a whole bunch of tricks that are like that. That are just totally different and not normal that we teach people to do. So that's what I would say.
Right. I was dabbling around on what I should do to get my artwork to people that are interested.
Yes.
Like, looking for.
Do not boost posts ever under any circumstances. Okay. It's a better idea to just take that money out back and light it on fire because it will not bring you buyers ever. So do not boost posts. Yeah. And listen to the podcast for sure. There's a ton of like super in-depth stuff.
Sure.
You know, I mean, sign up if you're ready to sign up. If you don't want to sign up, listen to that thing. It'll give you so much intel.
What was the podcast called again?
Art Marketing Podcast, and just look for this stupid orange logo. Where is it? I'll show it to you. That one. It's anywhere. Yeah. So any podcast app you have, you can find it and like start with the new ones and just go backwards. I'm telling you, you'll appreciate it.
And okay, so you do everything with the website, including extra stuff that like coffee cups and mouse pads and stuff.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. Yep. Whatever you decide is best for you.
Okay. What else was I gonna ask? How do we deal with shipping? Do you guys do worldwide or just United States?
Both. It does both.
Okay.
Yeah. You know, everyone loves to get wound up about the international shipping and what am I going to charge? What is it going to be? Is it going to be expensive? Da, 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 da. Do you know what's hard to do in this business? Get an order. Do you know what's not hard to do? Everything else. Everything else, including the shipping, right? So don't worry about the international order. Get the international order. You know what the rad thing about the art world is, and nobody on this call ruin this, okay? Art has not been Amazonified. What do I mean by that? The expectation is not that art ships for free. No buyers have that expectation. My customers never get any pushback on that at all. So you get that order, you can even just say like, look, I'm going to get back to you on shipping. Let me find out, right? But get the order.
That's what I usually say is like, hey, this is this, and then shipping with it.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. But we take care of all the prints for you, so you don't even have to worry about it. Just the ones you're on the hook for are the originals, right? Because you have possession of them if you're an artist. Are you an artist or a photographer? What's that?
How are those prints? Are they really good?
Yeah, they're awesome. We have Bay Photo on the West Coast, and we have Graphic Dimensions on the East Coast. You pick which one you want to integrate with. Bay Photo is a huge brand that everyone knows, and Graphic Dimensions is a similar size print operation, but lesser known brand.
Definitely awesome.
Yeah.
All right, I think that's everything. I actually got to get going at work.
Killer. Thanks, Raina. Have a great day.
Thank you.
All right. Stella, you're up next. Go ahead, Stella.
Hi.
Hi.
I used to have a brick and mortar art gallery for 10 years. It was and still is very specific art. It's Byzantine art.
Oh, wow.
Are you familiar with this?
Well, I'm familiar with the term, and I'm familiar with the history a little bit, and that. Are you talking about like deeply Christian themes and
Christian images, icons, geographers, and the other stuff.
Yeah.
I had to close it down 5 years ago. I do it only online on Etsy.
Okay.
I'm not happy with their services.
Yep.
When I had, when I had my gallery, I was able to sell because I have some very expensive icons. And face to face, I don't have any problem to sell.
Yes.
But now online, I'm struggling.
Yeah.
I registered just a few minutes ago to receive a phone call from your company. I don't know who is going to call me. I need to first of all, I need to know if you find my art suitable for your platform.
Yeah, so we don't make that decision, Stella. You do. Like it's, it sounds like we're not a marketplace, and so it's like you're not going into some big market like Etsy with everyone else. It would be your gallery set up on your URL that you own and that you're responsible for, and we would teach you how to grow it all year long, right? So essentially, you're the one making the call. Yeah.
But I think I read on that page that you need to approve that kind of art. I mean, any kind of art.
Well, they'll definitely look at it, but they're not involved in the approval decision. And like unless something's super out of line, like we're okay with it. And the fact that you had a gallery and sold well for years, I mean, tells me that art sells. So, you have to just fix the marketing problem. That's it.
Yes, I have tried so many ways to market these icons. All the social media, all the ESOP platforms. It wasn't successful for big items, for expensive items. So I think I should try your platform too, since you specialize in art. So you are talking a lot about prints.
Yes.
What can you explain? I'm sorry. What do you mean? I mean, I want to sell my actual art, but I have to have prints of my art.
No, you don't have to have prints, but most folks that are selling wall art do have prints. Yes. Right? Is a part of their lineup. Like if yours is yours all sculpture or is it wall art as well?
Well, they all of them are on wood, hand painted on wood.
Right, hand painted on wood. So knowing that and knowing how expensive they are, wouldn't you want to get them photographed and then be able to sell them as prints too?
You know what? As soon as I joined this meeting and I heard you saying something about prints, that moment I realized that I can take. I had a professional photographer taking pictures of my art, but that was a long time ago. So I was thinking of taking good pictures again and sell them as digital prints.
Exactly, all day long. It's an important item. Like, and it'll help establish the higher price points that you have for the original items anyway.
What does this mean? I'm sorry. Can you?
Yeah. So let's say you have a Byzantine image, right? And whatever it is, it's a architectural of a wall, whatever. It could be anything.
Yeah, let's say a huge tree trunk.
Okay, huge tree trunk, fantastic.
And it sells for 15,000.
In the original question would be like, okay,
how much would I sell the print?
Yeah, so let's just say the original is $50,000, right? You could have prints from 0 to 100, 100 to 1,000, all the way up to like 10 grand, and then the original goes for 200 grand. You could have all of those price points because the prints could be bigger, smaller, different media types.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So the print's price, it's not based on the actual item price.
No, I mean normally what you can just do like a 250%, 300% markup based on the cost of what it costs the media. You can price it any way you want, right? But the important thing is like, it's really hard when you have a business like yours when you just have the originals and you just have the high price points, right? The prints gives you the ability to have those other price points. And so what's important is that you can hit some of those lower numbers, generate more sales, and do everything like I talked about, acquire way more customers than you're acquiring now, right? Because those folks will eventually come back and buy the originals. That's how it works.
Yeah, maybe some.
Yeah.
Hopefully.
Yeah, hopefully.
Yeah, great. Thank you. So I'm waiting for the phone call.
Yep. We'll have somebody call you.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
Thanks, though. Okay. Susan, you're up next. Go ahead, Susan.
Hello?
Yes.
Hi.
Hi.
It's so nice to meet you. I've gotten a lot of your emails.
Oh, you and everyone else. We abuse email quite seriously.
Well, I'm glad because I had a little gallery gift shop of my artwork and it got ransomware. So I've been out for a year without anything and I've become more interested in what you offer. And I have 3 questions. Mainly, the first one is, do you have a website where all the galleries you represent are listed so we can go and look at examples of different artists and their work and how they've put together their URL? I don't know if you do or not.
I don't know if I totally understood that. So give that to me again.
Okay. Your company, the big gallery, I would think of it.
Yeah.
As all the artists in their own galleries in it.
Correct.
With their work.
Correct.
Is there one place we could go and then go to different galleries visiting like a mall?
No.
Oh.
Yeah, no.
Okay.
It's not a marketplace like that at all. They're all just individual businesses and the individual artists own those individual sites and we essentially teach them how to market it all year long, right?
Okay.
So yeah, we
yeah. Perfect answer. Thank you. And then the second question I had was you mentioned the off the wall or non-wall art in prints. I already have a whole gift shop of off the wall work.
Yeah, perfect. Covered them.
And I have prints within that, but not of the high-end paintings. And I was wondering, do you include in your package prints and off the wall items?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
You do prints. I couldn't understand. I think somebody asked that already.
So the way that it works is that we have a printer on the West Coast and we have one on the East Coast. The one on the West Coast is Bay Photo, and like I said, Graphic Dimension. You pick one, and then you're hooked up to them. And so you can offer anything that they offer, your choice, any sizes, all the rest of it. We make some recommendations, but you have that. Then on the merch side, we partner with this company called Guten, and they're just like a huge POD company. They're awesome, and I think we probably have, 75, 100 items with them. So calendars and throw pillows and cell phone cases and mugs and all kinds of stuff, right? And for me, I don't care what it is as long as you have it that's not wall art related, right? Because if I teach you to attract somebody to come to your website and they come to your website and they're not ready for wall art, but they want to reward you, there better be something that they can buy, right? Like, I get so fired up about it because it's like you spend a career getting really proficient at digital marketing and advertising and everything else. And it's like, the majority of you guys are here is because I got your attention on Facebook or Instagram. Do you know what I can't do? Is get your attention when you're not on Facebook and Instagram. It's the same thing for you guys too. If every morning, okay, I am drinking coffee out of the cup with your artwork on it, that is insane advertising, right?
Yeah.
Like I need you guys to be doing that, because what happens is like the analogy I always give is like, sometimes I'll buy stickers for my customers. That sticker goes right on my fridge in my garage, okay? Every time I go into my garage to get a beer, which is an extremely enjoyable thing for me, I'm greeted with your art, right? Top of mind, paired with an extremely enjoyable activity. Are you telling me I'm not calling you when I'm ready to do, post remodel art purchase? Like that stuff is so important, and ads can't get there. So you gotta have something, right?
Yeah, I understand that totally.
Yeah.
Then the third, then I was wondering, do you have a bottom line cost at all? And there are there three main items on each, in each gallery per artist, and then there's a bottom line for representation. I don't know. I don't understand.
Yeah, no. So what you need to do is get a demo, because they walk you through all the plans and the pricing. Basically, we have a number of different packages and services. All of them come with the full marketing education that goes on. All of them come with the website. Some of the websites have more bells or whistles or less bells or whistles. But, everyone pigeonholes us as like a website company, right?
Right.
We are the whole technology piece and the print on demand and the community and all of that. And then the other part is we're essentially like a postgraduate university that teaches art and photography, business and marketing, week in, week out for life. And that is like the huge value proposition of really what's coming out of the entire thing. So that's what I would do. Get a demo. They can walk you through all of it.
So how would I get, do you have like a printout of all the different packages?
Yeah, we don't send it. We make you get on the phone, which I know is annoying, but it's just how we do things. So you got to get on the phone with them.
Okay.
Yeah.
And my last question is, because I have had a gallery with my artwork on it, my own, for 20 years, and I've been hacked off for some reason 3 times. And this last time was horrendous with Russian ransomware. My web host company filed out.
We take care of all that. It'll never happen
I'm
again.
wondering how safe is it? I mean,
yeah,
it could happen, and I know it could happen to anyone. It happened to the whole city of Oakland. So have you had anything lately?
No, not in the slightest. Not in the slightest. I mean, we're like, any other technology company where every once in a while they'll try, but it's about how good your defenses are, right? And ours are pretty good. And we've had situations where they've tried to come after us, and maybe our websites are a little bit slow for a couple hours, but we've never completely gone down, and we've never had any, individual customer hacking and or exploitation at all. Normally what we deal with is, because we support our customers on just about everything, where it'll happen is, our customers will get locked out of Instagram or get locked out of Facebook, right?
No.
And we help clear those situations up for them too. But it's far more likely to happen there than it is with our websites.
Well, the reason why this last time my web host company helped me through and rebuild my website. The second time around, it was a very political thing that happened, and the third time they just disappeared, and you couldn't even get into my website at all. So the government just stepped in and stopped it.
Yeah.
And then they didn't know what happened, and then we just parted ways, and I hated to see it. It was a long time partnership.
Yeah.
And
Sorry
it was
to hear that.
not too expensive, but I'm really interested in putting something back up, but I don't want to, I don't know what. I guess we just have to wait and see if that happened.
Yeah, it won't.
Hopefully it wouldn't.
No, it wouldn't happen.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you. Okay. Mika, you're up next. Go ahead, Mika.
Sorry, just one more question. This might be a really silly question, but are you able to help us put on our website maybe digital downloads as well?
Oh yeah, all day. That's super easy.
Really?
Yeah. What do you want to put up there?
Well, you were talking about the print and the collection of the emails and 15% off and blah, blah, blah. And so I was just thinking of different ways to acquire emails, and one of them was a free digital download. And so I was just wondering, is that something you can do?
Cell phone.
That's something how to do.
Yeah, cell phone backgrounds can work really well, Some people are really fired up about those, like especially if we'll teach you how to do all there's like these programs that you take you control the crop, right? And then it'll size it for all the various different phones. So those things can be cool. But yeah, those are very easy to do.
You can teach us. Okay, cool. Thank you.
Yeah. Thanks, Mika. All right, guys. Well, good session today. I hope you guys learned something. Hope you found it valuable. I will be sending all of you replays. I will, there'll be links to the podcast in there, links to our YouTube channel. There will be links to my article on pricing, all of that stuff. And yeah, other than that, if you want to find out more information, you can get a demo. There's links of that in the chat. Juan from my team's in here. He'll send a follow-up email. There'll be links there. So if you want to find more information that you can, but the website rules, guys. You got to have them. You got to follow those rules. So start thinking about how you can do that, how you can get that stuff bolted into the business, and start thinking about how you can be a chef with a restaurant, not doing all of the jobs. I don't want you guys doing all the jobs. It's not good. It's not good doing the jobs, right? All right. Any final questions before we go? There's still a bunch of you guys switched on. I don't know. Some of you came in late. If you have any finals, I'm certainly happy to answer them. All right, you guys are a shy bunch. I'll take that. I'll take that. Yeah. Okay. Some people just joined. Okay. Well, don't worry. You're gonna get an email with the replay. I would just watch the replay because we went pretty heavily into all of it. So, but thanks, guys. Appreciate y'all. Hope you all have an incredible week. And get going. Q4 is here. Black Friday, Cyber Monday coming. Art and photography will be selling like crazy. It is your job to let people know you exist. Okay, and run a sale. It's that simple. But we'll be talking about that more coming up in the following weeks.